I'm Jessica from Devolutions, and today we're going to look at some changes to security and passwords from Remote Desktop Manager 14. So let's get started. Many people in our community asked us to support Mateso Password Safe. We listened, and here it is. So Mateso Password Safe lets you use a third-party password manager with RDM. Let me show you an entry just to briefly show you how to set it up. So here I've already made one, and we'll just go in Properties. So 2 prerequisites to use Mateso Password Safe with RDM. You need to have a Password Safe Enterprise Plus subscription plan from Mateso and have web services installed on the server that Mateso Password Safe is installed on. And then it will work. So here I've put in the name, then the host of the Password Safe server, the database name, the username and password to access the server, and finally here the second password entry is if you wanted to get a specific entry from your Password Safe, or you can check Always Prompt with List, and that will open up a list and you can choose which username and password you want to use. The great thing about credential repositories is we can link them to other entries. So here I have an SSH session, and I'll choose to be prompted with Mateso Password Safe when I open this remote connection. So it's a great way to use your credentials if they're already stored there with RDM. Of course, this works like any other third-party credential entry as well. Another change in RDM 14 is Use Legacy Security. It's an option that we've added in Data Source Settings. You can find it under Data Source Settings, Security. The reason for this option is that we are nudging our community towards role-based access control and moving away from our old system that was security groups and privileges. As I mentioned, the option is found on the Administration tab, Data Source Settings, Security, and Use Legacy Security. It's enabled by default, which means that your workflow, if you're using security groups and privileges, won't have changed. However, if you are using role-based access control already with roles, then you can disable this option to simplify your UI and streamline how you assign rights to users. Let me just show you a couple of the differences if we disable the option. So now Use Legacy Security is disabled because I'm using roles, and let's just look at some of the differences. You'll notice that security groups is no longer here, so we won't be tempted to touch it if we're using roles now. Also, if we go into users, we can see here that we no longer have access to privileges or security groups here. So that also simplifies the UI and makes sure that we assign rights in the correct place. Okay, and if we go into roles, we can also see some differences where we don't have privileges here either. If we go on to an entry, let's say this folder for servers, folder properties, we'll see here that in security, we can set permissions by role or by user, but security groups are no longer there. So that is useful for simplifying the UI and making sure that we're not assigning rights in the wrong place. If you want to stop using privileges and stop using legacy security, an option for those same rights is to go to data source permissions and assign them there to a role or to a user. And I'll just show you one last thing, which is, as we've said, use legacy security is checked by default. It's up to you to uncheck it if you're already using role-based access control. But when we create a new database, it won't be checked by default. So in this case, we will be using role-based security and permissions. So those are the two changes that have to do with security in RDM 14, use legacy security option, and a new credential entry for Mateso Password Safe. If you've enjoyed this video, we've been making others, so check out our YouTube channel, subscribe if you like, or follow us on social media. Thanks a lot for watching.